Join Kids Hat family.
The boys in my class are very mean to me. They are so tall and big that I always have to listen to whatever they say. I am afraid to disagree with them.
Size has nothing to do with courage, Tofu. You don't have to be afraid just because you're short. Have you heard the story of Peter Pan? Peter Pan. Once upon a time, in London, the darlings went out to a dinner party, leaving their 3 children, Wendy, John, and Michael, at home. After Wendy had tucked her younger brothers, John and Michael, to bed, she went to read a book. She heard a boy sobbing outside her window. He was flying. There was a little fairy fluttering around him. Wendy opened the window to talk to him.
Hello, who are you? Why are you crying?
My name is Peter Pan. My shadow wouldn't stick to me.
Don't worry. Come inside.
Peter agreed. Wendy took his shadow and sewed it to his shoe tips. Now his shadow followed him wherever Peter Pan went. He was delighted. Thank you so much. Why don't you come with me to my home? The Neverland. I live there with my fairy Tinkerbell.
Oh, what a wonderful idea! Let me wake up John and Michael too. Could you teach us how to fly?
Yes, of course. Get them. We will all fly together. And so it was. 5 little figures flew out of the window of the darlings and headed towards Neverland. As they flew over the island, Peter Pan told the children more about his homeland. That island is Neverland. All the children who get lost come and stay with Tinkerbell and me. The Indians also live in Neverland. The mermaids live in the lagoon around the island. And a very mean pirate called Captain Hook keeps troubling everyone.
Captain Hook?
Yes, a crocodile bit off his one arm. So the captain had to put a hook in its place. Since then, he's afraid of crocodiles. And rightly so. If the crocodile ever found Captain Hook, it will eat up the rest of what it couldn't eat the last time. Soon they landed on the island. And to the surprise of Wendy, John, and Michael, Peter Pan led them in through a small opening in a tree. Inside the tree was a large room with children inside it.
Some were huddled by the fire in a corner, and some were playing amongst themselves. Their faces lit up when they saw Peter Pan, Tinker Bell, and their guests.
Hello, everyone. This is Wendy, John, and Michael. They will be staying with us from now on.
Hello, Wendy, John, and Michael. A few days passed, and they settled into a routine. Wendy would take care of all the children in the day and would go out with Peter Pan and her brothers in the evening to learn more about the island. She would cook for them and stitch new clothes for them. She even made a lovely new dress for Tinker Bell. One evening, as they were out exploring the island, Peter Pan warned everyone and said,
Hide! Hide! Pirates! And they've kidnapped the Indian princess, Tiger Lily. They've kept her there, tied up by the rocks near the water.
Peter was afraid, and the princess would drown if she fell into the water. So, in a voice that sounded like Captain Hook, he shouted instructions to the pirates who guarded her.
You fools! Let her go at once! Do it before I come there, or else I will throw each one of you into the water.
The pirates got scared and immediately released the princess. She quickly dived into the water and swam to safety of her home. Soon everyone found out how Peter Pan had rescued the princess. When Captain Hook found out how Peter Pan had tricked his men, he was furious and swore to have his revenge. That night, Wendy told Peter Pan that she and her brothers wanted to go back home since they missed their parents. She said if the lost children could also return to her world, they could find nice homes for them. Peter Pan didn't want to leave Neverland. But for the sake of the lost children, he agreed, although a bit sadly. He would miss his friends dearly. The next morning, all the lost children left with Wendy, John, and Michael. But on the way, Captain Hook and his men kidnapped all of them. He tied them and kept them on one of his ships. As soon as Peter found out about it, he rushed to the ship. He swung himself from a tree's branch and onto the deck of the ship where all the children were tied up. he swung his sword bravely and threw over the pirates who tried to stop him. Quickly, he released everyone from the captor's ties. Wendy, John, Michael, and Tinkerbell helped all the children into the water, where their friends from the Indian camp were ready with smaller boats to take them to safety. Peter Pan now went looking for Captain Hook.
Let us finish this forever, Hook. Yes, Peter Pan, you have caused me enough trouble. It is time that we finish this.
With his sword drawn, he raced towards Peter Pan. Quick on his feet, Peter Pan stepped aside and pushed Hook into the sea, where the crocodile was waiting to eat the rest of Hook. Everyone rejoiced as Captain Hook was out of their lives forever. Everybody headed back to London. Mr. and Mrs. Darling were so happy to see their children, and they agreed to adopt the lost children. They even asked Peter Pan to come and live with them. But Peter Pan said he never wanted to grow up, so he and Tinkerbell will go back to Neverland. Do visit us sometime, Peter Pan.
I will, Wendy. Promise.
And he flew out of the window with Tinkerbell by his side.
Thank you, Tia. I feel much better. The next time the boys are mean to me, I will find a nice way out.
Very good, Tofu. Now come, I can see Mom's car right there.
Tia, today our teacher spoke to us about putting others first before our own needs.
That's very nice.
Tell me something, Tia. Even if it makes them unhappy, do people put others before their own needs?
Some people who have a really nice heart do. I remember the story of the Happy Prince. Do you want to hear it, Tofu?
Yes.
Once upon a time, a beautiful golden statue of the most beautiful smiling prince stood in the town center. It was covered with gold leaves and had eyes made of blue sapphire. It had a huge red ruby on the hilt of its sword. Everyone who ever saw the Happy Prince fell in love with it. The baker, whose flour had just fallen on the floor, saw it and said,
Oh, Happy Prince, I wish I could always be happy like him. From now on, I will.
The schoolgirl, whose mother wouldn't buy her ice cream, saw the Happy Prince and said,
Oh, the Happy Prince! I wish I could always be like him. From now on, I will.
At the same time, in the forest near the city, a swallow asked his new bride,
My love, all our friends have left for Egypt for the winters. There, they will see the Pharaoh's palace and bask in the sun in the royal gardens. They will enjoy many fruits and berries of different kinds. We must join them there.
But his bride just nodded her head to say no.
We will come back after the winters. You must let go of your attachment with this home and dwelling.
Bride again nods no.
You are being foolish, my new bride, but I must go. My friends wait for me.
And so the swallow flies away. After a whole day of flying, he is halfway through the happy prince's city and then begins to feel tired.
I think I will rest the night here and start again for Egypt tomorrow. This golden statue is very beautiful. I will rest between his feet.
Just as the swallow was about to sleep, a large drop of water fell on him.
What? Where did this come from? The sky is clear.
Just as the swallow was getting ready to sleep again, another large drop of water fell on him. When he looked up, he saw that the prince was crying.
Who are you?
I am the happy prince.
Why are you crying then?
I lived in the city palace once. I was always happy. I had no reason to be sad because I knew my people were happy too. When I died, they made a golden statue of me and put me here. From here, I can see the sadness of my people, and my heart, though it's made of lead, feels sad.
What do you see, a golden prince?
Far away, I can see a seamstress. Her fingers are red and bloody from endless stitching. Next to her, on a bed, is a little boy. He is sick with fever and is crying out for oranges. But the seamstress doesn't have anything other than river water to give him. Oh, swallow, take the ruby from my sword and give it to her.
No, I have to go to Egypt. I cannot stay. And if I go to the seamstress's house, I won't be able to reach Egypt.
Please, swallow, the child is very thirsty.
Well, okay. I will go.
So the swallow took the ruby from the hilt of the prince's sword and flew to the seamstress's house. By the time he got there, the tired seamstress had fallen asleep on her working table. So the swallow kept the ruby on the table. Then he flew around the sick boy's bed, flapping his wings. I feel so much cooler. I think I must be getting better. By the time the swallow returned, it was the next night. I will now go to Egypt. But the prince was crying again. I can see a hard-working man filled with despair. He is a writer and must finish his next play soon. But he is tired because he has no food to eat. Won't you stay another night and help that man?
Okay, one night it is. Should I take another ruby to him?
Alas, I have no ruby to give him now, but my eyes are made of sapphire. Take one of my eyes.
No, no, I cannot do that.
But I order you to do so. And so the swallow plucked out the prince's eye and flew away to the writer's house. By the time he reached there, the writer had fainted out of hunger and cold. The kind swallow put the sapphire on the writer's desk and collected dry twigs and lit a fire for the writer before he flew back to the prince. When he returned to the prince, it was the next night again. And once again, the prince was tearful.
What is wrong, Prince?
In the square, I can see a match girl crying. All her matches have fallen into the gutter and got spoiled. No one will buy them now. She's afraid her father will be angry when she goes home without any money. Please, Swallow, take my other eye and give it to her.
No, no, I cannot do that. You will become blind.
But I order you to do so.
And so the swallow plucked out the prince's other eye and took it to the little girl. The girl became very happy when she saw the stone and went home skipping. The swallow returned to the prince.
Now you can go to Egypt, my friend.
No, now I cannot go, my friend. I will stay here and become your eyes.
So the swallow stayed by the prince. Every day he would fly over the city and tell the prince the sorry tales he saw. The prince would then tell the swallow to pluck out a gold leaf from his body and give it to the poor people of his city. Soon there were no leaves left on the body of the prince. All that was left was his cold gray body. It kept getting colder as the winters kept setting in and the weather kept getting chillier. The swallow knew that he will not survive the season much longer.
My friend, it is time for me to go.
Finally, you're going to Egypt.
Not Egypt, but towards death.
Isn't it like sleep after all? But before I go, can I kiss you?
I will once again be sad without you. Kiss me before you go.
And so the frail swallow kissed the prince and fell at his feet dead. Suddenly, there was a loud sound like a crack. It was the sound of breaking of the prince's lead heart. In the morning, the mayor of the city crossed the statue.
What an ugly statue! And it has a dead bird at its feet too. Break it down immediately and put up my statue instead.
A few hours later, when the mayor's men broke the statue apart, they found the two pieces of the prince's heart, and they threw it into the bin next to the dead swallow.
That's when God said to his angels, "Bring me the most precious two things in the world." And they took the dead swallow and the prince's broken heart to God. "Well chosen, my angels. From now on, the swallow will sing in my heaven, and the prince will praise my ways." So you see, Tofu, even if you forgo some happiness by putting others before you, there are always better things waiting for you.
Yes, Tia. Now I understand what my teacher was talking about. Our gardener is so rude. I am never going to talk to him again. Maybe you should try to be nicer to him, Tofu. Perhaps he has no friends and feels lonely. Yes, he doesn't talk to anyone. Hence, he has no friends. Why would anyone talk to someone who doesn't talk to them? That's not what Heidi did. Who is Heidi? Heidi. There lived a little girl called Heidi. She lived with her aunt in the village. Once it happened that Heidi's aunt had to go to the big city for work. She would be gone for a long time. So she decided to leave Heidi with her grandfather, who lived alone on the mountain. Heidi's grandfather, a carpenter named wasn't a friendly person because of some experience in his past. He didn't like to talk to anyone, and that is why he lived all the way up in the mountains. And now Heidi had to live with him. Bye-bye, Heidi. Be a good girl. Bye, Auntie. Hello. My name is Heidi. Heidi waited a while, hoping that her grandfather would talk to her. When she realized he wasn't going to, she decided not to disturb him, and instead she went out to see the mountainside. She had never seen such vast lands of green. She fell in love with her new home immediately. She lay down next to a bed of daffodils under the open sky and smiled to herself. That's when she heard the goats with bells around their neck. Oh, hello. Where did you come from? I brought them here to feed, like I do every day. Where did you come from? Hello, my name is Heidi. I have come here to stay with my grandfather. Hello, Heidi. My name is Peter. Old Grandpa is your grandfather? He often helps us with furniture and maintaining the barn. In turn, my grandmother bakes bread for him. You live here with your grandma, is it? Can I meet her? Yes, come with me. And so Heidi went with her new friend to his house to meet his grandmother. Peter's grandmother was very loving, And although she was blind, she loved to talk and cook. She was very happy when Peter told her about Heidi.
Oh, that's wonderful. Come here, dear Heidi, and give me a hug.
Are you hungry?
Well, come, I will make you some special soup.
Heidi spent the rest of the day at Peter's house and learned how to make special soup from his grandmother. Heidi asked her if, like Peter, she too could call her Granny, and she was delighted when she agreed. When it was evening, she said goodbye to them and went back to her grandfather's house. When she reached there, he was still working in his workshop. So Heidi went into the house. Sometime later, Heidi called out to him, "Dinner time, grandfather! Come, let's eat together." Old Arm looked up in surprise. No one had made dinner for him in decades. He closed his workshop for the day, washed up, and went to eat. Heidi had made the lovely soup she had learnt from Granny. They ate in silence. And although her grandfather liked the soup very much, he didn't say anything. When dinner was done and the kitchen had been cleaned up, they both went out in the yard and sat under the stars quietly. After some time, Heidi started feeling sleepy, and so she kissed Arm goodnight and went to sleep. Arm had not experienced so much love in many years, and so he sat there with tears in his eyes for a long time. Next morning, by the time Heidi got up, her grandfather was already in his workshop. She decided to go and be with him. "Good morning, grandfather." Heidi knew she wouldn't get an answer, so she decided to make herself busy. She swept the workshop, filled fresh water in Arm's jar, and to surprise kissed him and went out to feed the hen. When it was about afternoon, she served a lunch of mashed potatoes which she had learnt to make from her aunt. Later, she went to Peter's house to spend time with Granny and returned in the evening to serve dinner. This went on for many days. Every morning and night, she would kiss her grandfather on the cheek and wish him. She would clean his workshop and fill fresh water in his jar. All this love and care that Heidi gave him changed Arm's behavior. He loved having Heidi around and enjoyed it very much when Peter and Granny came by to visit her. One day, upon Heidi's insistence, he even took her to the village. They bought a pair of shoes for Heidi. On the way back, they bought candy floss. Throughout the trip, Arm laughed and played with Heidi. All the villagers were surprised to see this change in the old carpenter. 2 years went by, and Heidi and Arm were very happy in each other's company. Till one day, Heidi's aunt returned. She wanted to take Heidi with her to the big city. The man whose office she worked in had a daughter, Clara, who couldn't walk. Clara always needed a wheelchair to go anywhere. Hence, she had no friends. Clara's father wanted Heidi to be Clara's friend. "Grandfather, tell her I do not wish to go. I want to live here with you." But Arm didn't say anything. He knew that Heidi would have a much better life in the big city. And so Heidi left her grandfather, Peter, Granny, and the mountainside to live in the big city. She was straight away taken to the mansion where Clara lived. There she met Clara's father. He was a very kind and loving gentleman who loved Clara very much, but often had to travel a lot for business. During these times, he left Clara in the care of her grandmother and a rather stern housekeeper. "Hello, Heidi. I am Clara's father. I wanted to thank you for coming here. I am sure you will like living here with Clara. If you ever need anything, please let me know. Now come, I will take you to Clara's room." When they entered Clara's room, Heidi saw a beautiful girl, maybe 2 years elder to Heidi, sitting on a wheelchair. She was very pretty, but she was frail and seemed sad. The housekeeper pushed the wheelchair forward towards Heidi. "Clara, this is Heidi. She will live with us now. I will see you both in the evening now. Bye-bye." Saying so, he and Heidi's aunt left to attend their business. For a while, Heidi didn't know what to say to Clara. "My friend Peter has many goats. Sometimes I can't make out whether he controls the goats or they control him." Hearing this, Clara also broke into giggles, and Heidi immediately knew that they were going to be very good friends. She started spending her whole day with Clara. She would tell her many tales of the mountains, while Clara would tell her about the different cities she had stayed in after her mother had passed away. While the housekeeper was very stern and always stopped the girls from enjoying themselves too much, Clara's grandmother was very nice. She even taught Heidi how to read. Everybody who met Clara now noted how happy she looked. One day, the girls went out to the market. As Heidi pushed the wheelchair forward, she saw a vendor selling daffodils. She was immediately reminded of home, her grandfather, Peter, and Granny. When they came back from the market, Clara asked Heidi, "Wasn't today fun, Heidi? What do you think of my new bracelet?" "Yeah, it's lovely." And so it went from that day. Heidi didn't want to play or sing with Clara, and she wouldn't read with Clara's grandmother. She wouldn't even eat unless was forced to. She would just keep doing her work quietly. She missed her home terribly, and her heart broke every time she looked out of the window and saw buildings and towers instead of mountains and sky. This went on till one day she felt terribly ill. Clara's father called the doctor right away.
Well, I am afraid she is homesick. She misses home. No medicine or treatment can make her better unless she goes back.
I will immediately make arrangements to send her home. True to his word, Clara's father made sure that Heidi was back in the mountain at her grandfather's house in 2 days. Just the news of going back home had made Heidi feel better. And when she reached her grandfather's home, she ran to him and hugged him. Even Am was very happy to have Heidi back. "I am never going away, Grandfather."
You don't have to.
"Grandfather, this is Clara. She is my friend from the city. She has come to stay with us for a few days. And that is Clara's father." As the two men shook hands, Peter came over. The children were very excited to see each other. "You must be Peter. Heidi has told me all about you. You must take me to your granny."
Yes, yes. Come, I will push your chair.
Granny would love to meet you. After some time, Clara's father said goodbye to everyone. He would come back in few weeks to take Clara back to the city. The children waved him goodbye. In the next few days, the children had a lot of fun. Peter and Heidi would take Clara along with them everywhere. Peter would pluck fresh fruits for them, and they even showed her how to milk a cow. With the good food, air, environment of the mountainside, Clara grew stronger. So much that she even learned to walk by herself. Soon it was time for Clara's father to come and take her away. When he came, she surprised him by walking up to his carriage. "Oh, my darling, I am so happy." As they left, everybody was happy. There was no sadness in anyone's heart. "Bye-bye. I will visit you soon." "I will too. Goodbye. Take care." So you see, Tofu, When you are kind and loving towards someone, you can change their whole life.
Yes, Tia. Thank you for teaching me this valuable lesson. Perhaps I will take some chocolates for the gardener. Hey, Tia.
Yes, Tofu.
My teacher wrote a report that I need to get signed by Mom.
What? Why?
She said that I didn't do things as asked.
Oh, why is that?
I just thought she's giving instructions just like that. I didn't think there was any meaning to her instructions.
That's not a good thing, Tofu.
Yes. But why does she give so many instructions? And why do I have to follow them always?
I think you should follow your teacher's instructions, otherwise you will experience something similar to Peter Rabbit.
Why? What did he experience?
Peter Rabbit. Once upon a time, there lived a rabbit called Peter Rabbit. He lived with his mother and brothers, Flopsy, Mopsy, and Cottontail. One day, their mother told them that she was going out for some work.
Children, I have to go finish some errands. Till then, you can go and play in the lane. Just be careful that you do not go to MacGregor's garden at all. You all remember that your father had an accident there, don't you? Mrs. MacGregor had put him in the pie.
Once their mother had gone, all the brothers went down the lane to play. Flopsy, Mopsy, and Cottontail were very good kids, and they followed their mother's instructions. But Peter Rabbit was a naughty one. He went to the MacGregor's garden all by himself and squeezed himself under the fence. The garden was full of delicious vegetables.
Wow! So many vegetables! I will eat them all.
And quickly, Peter Rabbit filled his stomach with lettuce, French beans, and radishes.
Oh, I think I have eaten too much. I need some parsley to help my stomach.
And so Peter went looking for parsley deeper in MacGregor's garden. He was just crossing the cucumber patch when he ran into Mr. MacGregor.
Thief! Stop! Stop right there!
Mr. MacGregor ran after Peter, trying to catch him. The moment Peter saw him coming, he took off.
Oh no! I must run. If I get to the shed, I should be okay.
Peter quickly dashed into the tool shed and dived into a can. The can was filled with water, but Peter had no choice. Mr. McGregor had followed him into the shed.
Where did that rabbit go?
Mr. McGregor couldn't find Peter anywhere, and so he decided to check outside the shed. As soon as he turned away, Peter got out of the can and dashed out. But Mr. McGregor spotted him.
There, that thief! After him! I won't let him go this time!
Somehow, Peter managed to get away. He caught his breath and sat down under the blueberry bush. Just then he heard someone talking to him.
Are you okay? Can you help me find the way out of here?
The mouse showed Peter the way out of the garden. Peter quickly got out of the garden and headed home.
Oh, Peter! Good you're home. What took you so long? Nothing, Mom. I am just very tired. I think I will sleep.
The mother was very surprised. She let Peter go to sleep early. At supper time, she made the children's favorite dinner. And served them the carrot pie that she had got for them from the market. But Peter Rabbit was so tired that he slept through the entire dinner and missed his favorite meal.
Oh no! I don't think I ever want to experience anything like that. I will think twice before not following any instructions from my elders.
That's awesome, Tofu. Come on now. We'll get you some carrot pie and then you can get the report signed by Mom.
Yes, let's go, Tia. Let's go home. Why are you wasting time? How come you always want to do something good for others?
Tofu, what goes around comes around. If you do good, good will come back to you. And if you do bad, bad will come back to you.
What do you mean?
Let me tell you the story of a little boy called Pinocchio. Pinocchio. Once there lived an old carpenter called Geppetto. He had no family and was quite lonely. Since he was quite poor, he would find leftover wooden logs and create something new out of them. One night, he found a large wooden log and took it home. Throughout the night, Geppetto worked on the log. And carved a young boy out of it. By the time he was done with it, it was morning.
My, what a beautiful boy I have made. I wish he had a heart. Then he could be my son and I would call him Pinocchio.
A good fairy who knew that Geppetto was a very nice man overheard him, and suddenly the wooden boy spoke up.
Hello.
Geppetto was surprised but overjoyed. He hugged Pinocchio and told him that from that day he was Geppetto's son. Geppetto arranged for Pinocchio to go to school. To buy him his books, he sold off his dear chisel.
Now you can go to school like a real boy.
One morning, as Pinocchio was going to school, the evil puppet master stopped him. The puppet master wanted to own Pinocchio so he could use him to earn lots of money.
Hello, Pinocchio. Do you want to go to the Fun Island? It is a wonderful, magical place where you can become a real boy.
Pinocchio was overjoyed at the idea of going to Fun Island. He quickly started walking with the puppet master. The good fairy who had been watching over Pinocchio suddenly appeared. Seeing her, the evil puppet master ran away, leaving Pinocchio alone.
Where are you going, Pinocchio? To school, good fairy.
Just as Pinocchio said the lie, his wooden nose grew longer.
That isn't the way to the school, Pinocchio.
Afraid that he had been caught, the boy decided to lie again.
It is a new route.
With the second lie, Pinocchio's nose grew even longer. Now he was very sad and started crying.
I am sorry. I won't go to the Fun Island. I will go to school.
Seeing how sorry Pinocchio was, the good fairy did her magic and turned his nose into its normal size again. Pinocchio thanked her and dashed off to school. Once he reached school, he told all his friends about the Fun Island. All his friends decided to go and see this magical place. What they didn't know was that the magic in Fun Island was evil. It turned little boys into donkeys.
Oh no, we are in trouble. Everybody, run from here.
Just as the boys were figuring a way out of the island, Pinocchio saw Geppetto swimming towards the island. He had been looking out for Pinocchio all day. But to Pinocchio's horror, before Geppetto could reach him, a whale swallowed him up. To save his father, Pinocchio also jumped into the sea and went straight into the whale's stomach. There he saw Geppetto.
Pinocchio, my son.
Father, are you okay? How will we get out of here now?
Well, we must tickle the whale from inside till it throws us out.
And they started tickling the whale's stomach. Soon the whale sneezed and threw both of them out. Pinocchio helped his father and all his friends to get back to the village. The good fairy had been watching him all this time.
Pinocchio, I have seen what a good boy you have been, jumping into the sea to save your father like that. Hence, I am giving you a heart and making you a real boy.
Pinocchio and Geppetto were overjoyed. They hugged each other and thanked the fairy as Pinocchio really turned into a real boy. Do you still think that doing good is a waste of time, Tofu?
Oh no, never, Tia. From now on, I will always do good to others.
For your favorite rhymes, stories, and more, join Kids Hut family. Subscribe here.